Okay, hello my friends. I knit my swatch last night. Actually, it started like this. Um, so it's almost dry, it's still a little damp. It rained here yesterday, so I am gonna have to wait a little while longer before I can start actually measuring it officially and doing some math. But that gives me some time to think about the stitch patterns. And I love this one, which was my initial the pattern I wanted to use initially. So I'm definitely going to use that. I'm really happy with it. And then my little fern leaves here, you see that one and that one. I thought I like them going both ways, but I don't like them starting here. So I think I may offset one of them by 5. It's a 10 stitch pattern. So if I scooch it over, it'll start about here and then it'll have a sort of crosshatch feel to it. So I think this is working, which is exciting. So now I have to start thinking about construction. And that's the thing that's going to be tough. Normally I work bottom up. Most of my designs are bottom up sweaters. And I like that because the yoke is the part where if things need to change, like that's where the fit usually needs to be adjusted. So part of me thinks like, well, I should do the sleeves and the body first and then do the yoke, and it'll be really exciting, which you need as you get towards the end of a sweater. But at the same time, a lot of these kinds of sweaters are worked top down, and so maybe that would be something interesting to try. So I'm gonna look at I've got Barbara Walker's. This is knitting from the top. This is like an original published by Schoolhouse Press. And so I'm going to take a look at that, although I don't think there is a round yoke sweater in there, but I'm sure it has some good principles. I mean, Barbara Walker is Barbara Walker. She's amazing, both in the knitting world, and she later went on to write a lot about, I can't think now. She's but I knew about Barbara Walker before I knew about knitting. So, and then I have my tried and true, one of my all-time favorites, Elizabeth Zimmerman's Knitting Workshop. This has a lot of good information about EPS, which is Elizabeth's percentage system, which has some great principles about shaping and sizing. And so what I'm thinking I might try, this sounds wacky, is I have to do the math the same basically either way, whether it's top down or bottom up. I have to figure out the same kinds of numbers. So what I'm thinking about is to write it both ways. Oh, what do you think? I think the stitch patterns are symmetrical so that they could be worked either way. And then it's just a matter of where you want to start. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm kind of up for a new challenge, and a round yoke isn't a very complicated construction. So it is the kind of place where I would have room in my normal, number of pages I expect a pattern to take. I would have room to possibly write it both ways. And I'd use all the same numbers. So it'd be really interesting to see if it can be done. So, so that's sort of what I'm thinking now. I'm thinking a slightly oversized body, like maybe not oversized, a lot of ease. I'm thinking about 6 inches of ease for my sample, but having the sleeves be more fitted. I think I like that modern silhouette. And on my swatch, I tried out, I cast on with just the contrast color, and then switched to the main color. And at the end I did, you can't even tell because this is so dark. Let's see if we can angle it a little. It's 2x2 rib. And I even had trouble doing it last night with the lighting in my living room because this is really dark yarn. But I think, so what I'm thinking is top down, provisional cast on, and getting right into the patterns, and doing the pine bows in the first 2 sections, and we'd be increasing instead of decreasing if we were working bottom up. And then I'll do the I'm gonna have to give it a name, this sort of floral organic thing. So there are my graphs. So the bottom one would be, so it would kind of go like this, but with the leaves, the pine boughs more offset. And so that would be the next sort of band. and then however much longer needed before splitting for the sleeves and the body. And then working straight down in the main color and possibly finishing off probably with ribbing, maybe a turned hem, and if I have enough of the contrast color, to do the inside of the turned hem in the contrast color. And then at the end to go back and do the collar, pick up the provisionally cast on stitches and do the collar as like a roll neck, as like a delicate little roll neck. I have another sweater I did that was worked bottom up, and it ends with a roll neck, and it has a roll neck at the cuffs too, and I like that. It's really delicate. It's fingering weight. It's not too heavy or anything. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then the question is like, how long should the body be? How long should the sleeves be? And whether I want to finish off with the turned hems, or if I want to do ribbing. I'm kind of leaning towards ribbing. I sometimes feel I like a turned hem for some things. For this, I feel like it may be, I don't know, not exactly what I'm looking for, but I have time to think about it, especially if I do it top down. I suppose bottom up, I could still provisionally cast on, and then at the end go back and do ribbing down or turn it and do the hem. So it really is completely flexible one way or the other. So that's where I'm at now. I have to wait. This is still just a tiny bit damp. It rained last night, so it's taking forever to dry. Like I had it sitting on my leg while I was talking to you, and my jeans are feeling, they're not wet or anything, but there's like a little humidity. So once this is fully dry and I can really assess how much I like the fabric, and I think I do. It's light. It's not a tightly knit fabric. And I know some people don't like that, but I want something really airy. I think that takes advantage of this, the petite lamb's wool from Biches et Bouches. So once it's all dry, I can measure it in very strong light, because it's navy, but it's like black when you're looking at it. So once I measure it, I can then whip out my spreadsheet app and application and start crunching the numbers for all the different sizes. And I think I'll probably call me a medium and do like a 44-inch finished bust circumference, and then I'll grade down to so a small and an extra small by 4 inches, and then I'll go up to 3X, going upwards in 4-inch increments from there. And I think that would probably be sufficient. So then I can start working on my numbers, and then I could cast on. My only concern with doing a top down is that I will do all the exciting color work first, and then I will have just a lot of stockinette. But at the same time, I really enjoy the occasional stockinette, like big whack of stockinette. It's good therapy. It isn't distracting, so you can watch TV or you can have a conversation. So that's what I'm thinking about now. So that is today's update from the sweater design. It is still just called the yoke sweater. The name hasn't come to me yet, and I don't know when it will. But when it does, I will let you know. So that's it for today. Presumably I will be back tomorrow, possibly with another swatch, possibly just with a bunch of numbers in a spreadsheet. So you'll have to tune in then and find out. Bye. Oh. Okay, now for real, bye.